Hello everyone, my name's Will, and this is a bit of Guild Wars 1 gameplay on Jade Quarry. Now, Jade Quarry is a multiplayer PvP game type where you have to capture shrines and assist these gigantic turtles, or if you're on the opposite evil side, the Luxon side. No, they're not necessarily evil, but I'm a Luxon at heart. You have juggernauts rather than turtles, and the idea is to reach 10 points, so 10 slabs of jade delivered to and from the shrines by your turtles or juggernauts, or have the highest number of points at the end of the 15-minute time frame. Now this is possibly one of the easiest games I've played on Jade Quarry because half their team left and the other half are just bots, apart from what I can gather, one person on their team. So these mesmers I kill for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes of the 7-minute video I spent killing these two mesmers here, who are definitely bots, because they just keep spamming their spells over and over again and I keep interrupting them. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about that too much. What I want to talk about is moving from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2. Now it's obvious when you look at me playing here, you know, I haven't got a lot of skills anymore. I mean, if you would have watched this, if I would have recorded this maybe 2 years ago, maybe 1.5 years ago, when I was at the peak of my Guild Wars fitness, these mesmers would have been down in seconds, but unfortunately my skills have waned somewhat since that time, and I just can't do it anymore. I used to be able to hit 3/4 second cast spells pretty regularly, pretty easily, whereas now I struggle to hit 1 second cast spells, and I just pretty much just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, hit these skills, hope I get any kills. I'm kind of like riding my luck here a bit, and I'm quite lucky to have a monk behind me at this point. So we're only about 13 days away now from Guild Wars 2. It seems quite unreal. It has been 5 years in the making, and for those of us who've been following it during that entire time, having it so close seems very odd. The community's changed so much since I certainly started getting more involved about maybe 2-3 years ago. You know, when I first started, the Guild Wars 1 community was fairly large, but in my head it only really consisted of Guild Wars Guru and a few blogs that I read. But now, you know, looking at the Twitter community and the Facebook community and the blogging and the vlogging and the YouTube community is so massive, you know, and the game is getting so much recognition from the big YouTubers like the Yogcast and Total Halibut and Total Biscuits, Total Halibut's the channel, and GameSpot and Massively and you know, things like that. It's just getting so much attention from everywhere that it seems quite strange to me to have this community be in the centre of the spotlight now and to be growing so quickly. But I'm gonna miss Guild Wars 1, I think, when the game finally hits. I mean, we can, as much as we can say, oh yeah, they'll keep the servers up, and I'm sure some people will still be playing it, and I'm sure they will. You can't really see it getting as much love as it has done in the past, and maybe as it did 3-4 years ago, and it's just gonna wane a bit, and that's natural. I mean, you know, why would you play Guild Wars 1 other than to study a Hall of Monuments once Guild Wars 2 hits? Unless, of course, Guild Wars 2 explodes like many of the other MMOs seem to be doing at the moment. That's one of the constant fears. But I've been playing Ranger, as you can see here, since the very start. I can remember my very first Ranger, which I really wish I hadn't deleted, because probably would have went well past, you know, would have been nearing its 7th birthday by now. But I've been playing Ranger for years and years and years. I can remember playing through Hell's Precipice, which is the final mission of the Prophecies campaign, for the first time, and having the only elite on my bar which I had was Spiteful Spirit, and that's how I completed Hell's Precipice. There's a Ranger with Spiteful Spirit, but yeah, that's the kind of stuff you did when you were back then. You just didn't know. Lifeblood. So yeah, I really like playing the Ranger, and it's going to be vastly different in the new game. Obviously, you know, the whole game's different. It's totally different parameters to work by. There's no interrupting, and there's much more focus on the pets, which is going to be kind of cool. You know, one of the things I really liked about playing the beta weekends was going around everywhere and finding the juvenile versions of each of the animals. You know, I found in World v World, I found a juvenile snow leopard, which is pretty cool. So he was my main pet. I just really hope they've got the AI and they've got it all top notch, because that was the real problem with GW1 pets, was that as much as I liked having them by my side, they just seemed a bit superfluous. They would just run into battle and aggro everything, and then die, and then leave you to clear up the mess, pretty much. So yeah, I've got some notes here, and I've scribbled something down. I can't even read it. What does it say? I think it says killing scrubs. So yeah, that's the Ranger provides a perfect balance between survivability and power, really. You've got things like apply poison and your other sort of bow skills like your D shot and your savage shot, which interrupt cast times of enemy spells and skills. They're so powerful when used correctly, and it is a real skill class. You really have to have situational awareness and fast reactions to play Ranger properly effectively. You can get through the Prophecies campaign just by spamming skills, but if you want to play, say, PvP at the top, you want to play it effectively, you kind of have to have the fast reactions. You have to have the awareness of what's going on. You have to know when to press, when to push, and when to put pressure on, when to back off and run from a battle. That's one of the big lessons you have to learn, particularly in game types like Alliance battles and Jade Quarry, actually, because it's guerrilla style. You've got to move from battle to battle quickly, and if you're losing a battle, there could be somewhere elsewhere where you're going to be more useful. So we're sort of reaching the end of the commentary now. We're 9 for 1. Unfortunately, they've had half their team leave, and the other half appear to be bots. So it's not a very good gameplay for them. But, I hope my rambling's not been too strange. If you have found it at all interesting, why don't you give me a subscribe, give me a like maybe. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to start a couple of new series when Guild Wars 2 properly hits. So I hope you'll join me for them. Catch you later.